Welcome back to the show, guys. I hope everyone's been good. It's been the last few weeks. We've been blessed with some good fights, UFC, WCK, all these things, man. But here we are again. Today, I want to welcome to the show special guest. This man is a Muay Thai fighter. His record is 4-3. He fought a lot of fights for Fighters Rep. He's currently on his WBC journey. He's trying to get a sponsorship or get some sponsors for a tournament they're doing in Italy. It's a big tournament, bro. Honestly, I've been seeing a lot of fighters post about it. But please welcome to the show, Ian Holloway.
It's popping. How's your day going?
Pretty good, bro. Ian Holloway, man. WBC, man.
Yeah, I know. Crazy, man. Honestly, Verona, Italy, I wasn't really expecting it. I wanted it. You know, it came out of nowhere. Once I saw the opportunity, I was like, I need this. Felt like it was the right opportunity. I felt like it would happen. Saw it kind of after my first fight this year, and I was like, I know this is what I want. This is what I'm going to go for, and got it. And I was just super happy it came.
Yeah. So do you like have to, how does that even work out? Do they reach out to you, or do you apply for like a...
So there's like, you have the tournaments that they do that you could obviously win, or there's different applications. So like I said, after my last fight, I was like, oh, I saw the tournament, knew I wanted to do a couple different tournaments this year. And so once I did that, I was like, I need to get another fight this year. I want to stay active, get as many fights as possible. There's no really better way than doing a tournament.
Yeah, for real.
I'm like, I wanted to go to Europe this summer.
Yeah.
I'm like, what beats fighting in Italy? So applied, put in all my information, and then took a couple months. Was nervous. I'm like, I don't think I got it. And then I randomly was like, you know what? I'm gonna just check my email. Like, I haven't seen anything. I'll just check my email and see if I got anything. And the craziest thing was I refreshed it and typed in like WBC. And that morning at like 2 a.m., they had sent me the acceptance letter. And I'm like, what are the odds? Like, didn't come through on the top of my phone. Like, I normally get all my emails. So I was super ecstatic. And honestly, like for a couple of days, didn't believe it. Like, I was locked in training in the gym, and I'm like, nah, like I just couldn't believe it. But now it feels really real. Done a couple of the meetings, learned a bit about the team and like a couple of the teammates, and it's a really, really strong team, strong tournament. There's a lot of like WBC champions that are fighting. It's going to be a lot of really, really good talent. So I think that's the thing I'm most excited for, is challenging myself in like a tournament like that. I feel like everybody who starts fighting, or at least how I started fighting, first movie I watched was Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee.
Sick.
Or you watch Bloodsport, and they're all tournaments.
Yeah.
And I think tournaments are scary. Like, you get that. It's just different. You watch The Karate Kid, it's all tournaments. So I feel like martial arts and tournaments is synonymous. So I feel like for me to be a fighter, this is the next logical step for me.
Have you done any tournament before?
No, I haven't. Honestly, this is my first time doing a tournament, and obviously, like, Verona, Italy, like that's crazy too.
That's so tight, dude.
Yeah, to start off with, but
Yeah.
I'm a big dreamer. I feel like when you achieve things, you got to think of something bigger to do, and what's bigger than WBC in Italy? So
Yeah. I'm curious to see the style that the locals are going to have, because I imagine a lot of locals are going to be entering this tournament,
Yeah.
right? Because it's right there. I don't know how WBC is doing it, but I don't think I've heard much of Italian Muay Thai. It's a Muay Thai, or is it kickboxing?
this one's gonna be Muay Thai, and I have seen a couple Italians that they have there. Like, there was one WBC champion, and his promo looked tough. Like, he looked really good.
Yeah.
A lot of different people, a lot of different countries. So I'm excited for that. I think we'll get different Muay Thai, things like that. So
Yeah, it's always interesting to see the slight differences. Like, I mean, obviously, the Dutch style, and then the traditional style, and then someone was telling me about this other European country that's like right by Holland, but they have their own style, but even though it looks very similar to the Dutch style. But anyways, do you have an idea of who's going to be in your bracket?
honestly, no idea. I feel like for tournaments, it doesn't really matter. I feel like that's not really the mindset. Going back to Enter the Dragon is just like, be with water.
He dies.
Do what you got to do.
Shit,
I mean,
bro.
like, what are the odds you can't scope out every opponent. And,
Yeah.
oh, if this guy wins, then I could do this. Like,
Uh-huh.
I'm perfect. The whole goal for this tournament, and for me in this year of fighting, perfecting my style, trying to look as professional as possible, and just really going out there and starting to hurt these guys a little bit more than I have in the past. So what better than testing myself against these guys? I think European Muay Thai is dangerous. They're going to have dangerous fighters. Home turf, I think going out
For
there
sure.
is scary in itself, having to fly and everything like that. But I think that's all motivating factors of it for me, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think in Europe they care about more. I don't know about Muay Thai specifically, but I know they kickboxing and just martial arts in general. They care about it a lot more. It's sad, man.
Yeah, man. I think we're gonna see a lot more. I think UFC has kind of changed, and I think we were just talking about karate combat.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna kind of change in America. I think things are gonna become a lot more accessible for people. I
yeah,
think it's gonna be a sport that people want to do, especially you see a lot of American, MMA fighters that have done really well. Obviously, you see a lot of foreigners as well, but I think MMA is kind of a sport that you can kind of rise to the top. So I think we'll see a lot of that, a lot of striking. So who knows? I think it's kind of making its rounds again. I think you see with boxing too, like Ring Magazine opening up and kind of doing their promoting. Ring Magazine is crazy. Like they're doing shows with Garcia, Tiafimo, everybody, Connor Bannon, geez, I can't think of his name now. Eubank Jr. You have all these amazing fights that they put on that are like fights we've all been kind of wanting or begging for. You get Canelo versus Crawford, and it's all this big money coming in now in regards to fighting. So I think we're gonna see a lot different with the Americans. I think now coming up.
yeah. I hope, man. It's just kind of crazy because it's like we have like one of the strongest economies in the world, but nobody cares about martial arts out here, man. You know what I mean? Not like these other countries, because these other countries will like subsidize a lot your lifestyle to help pay for like fighting. Like Russia, you can just take it in high school and like that. You don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Versus out here, it's so expensive. Especially if you're trying to like get to the top level, it's like you got your food and everything. It's like if you want champions, then it's like if you get a football scholarship,
Yeah.
wrestling scholarship. It's like we need something like that for fighting.
Except for there's no scholarships. I think that's like the main difference.
Yeah,
Is you have like one thing I've seen too, especially now that like I've kicked up my training with the fighting and like the performance aspect of it. Like these baseball players or these football kids, like their parents are investing so much money into this.
dude.
But the return is your kid gets at worst they get a scholarship. You know what I mean? Some of them aren't, but like most of these parents, if you're investing that much, your kid gets a scholarship to D3, D2, and they get their school paid for.
Yeah,
Maybe nowadays they get some NIL money.
yeah.
With fighting, you don't really have that. Like
Nah, there's no
concussions and broken noses and Lord knows what else. You know.
Weird, huh? What's up with that?
It's the game, man. I think like the parents that do it, it's mostly like wrestling parents. I think that's like wrestling and jiu-jitsu parents, I think invest into fighting.
Yeah,
I don't think you really see that with like
Muay Thai,
kickboxing or Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Boxing maybe,
That's
but
a
you
good
don't
point, actually though. Yeah, jiu-jitsu is like, dude, jiu-jitsu is newer than Muay Thai, and it blew up so much bigger than Muay Thai, dude.
I think it's like clean cut. I think of like the gyms near me. Like I live in Newport Beach. All of the gyms near
nice gyms
there,
right there,
there's like a lot of nice, like Brazilian jiu-jitsu gyms.
Uh-huh.
And it's the way they cater, they're how they look, and it's good for the kids. Like the kids like it. They meet a lot of people. I think that's kind of how, like for me with Taekwondo as a kid, it was just having friends, man, and like being able to do fun stuff. For me, like I was one of those kids that like did sparring and did the kata and like wanted to do all that different stuff because I was just really nerdy like that, and it was fun for me.
Yeah.
But I think you get a lot more camaraderie in jiu-jitsu nowadays, and I think that's the one thing that not even with kids, with adults, is what's attractive to like the average consumer. If you're sick of going to like a 24 because you can't get the weights and like you want a nice workout, you also kind of want friends because you don't want to like go to the bars, you don't want to party or do whatever, like you have a family at home and you want some buddies to like chill with. I think like jiu-jitsu gym's like the best way, low key. There's a lot of people, you spend time conversating with people, you learn how to talk, you learn how to do the moves. So I see why it's like very attractive.
Yeah, I guess, and also the brain injury thing too is probably it's like looks like it's. I mean, it is less trauma to your head. Yeah, there's definitely everything you just said, and I think it was also. And Royce Gracie just did a really great job at marketing the sport, bro. And like he made those DVDs early on. I think I remember hearing a podcast where this other old school jiu-jitsu coach was talking about how the word jiu-jitsu was copyrighted for Royce Gracie, so that's why they started calling it Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So this dude just like made some moves to help push the brand. And there was like that one time where they finally started like I think this was like in the early 90s when they basically were like, all right, this is what the requirements to reach each belt, you know, and they're like, this is how it's gonna apply for all jiu-jitsu, you know, and you had to have some coaches like turn in their belt, or, you know, they were like third degree black belts, they had to get dropped down, and that they just agreed to it. That was my point. So that helped kind of push the sport into the mainstream, you know. Yeah, I saw a documentary about a coral. This one Gracie that had a coral belt and how he gave it up.
Yeah.
To like so that jiu-jitsu could be like a unanimous, like the growth could be unanimous, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we just don't have that in Muay Thai, dude. It's a lot more random. I mean, you even go to different like venues and it's like the rules are a little bit different, you know.
I mean, yeah, I think that's kind of what the Muay Thai community likes.
Yeah,
I think a lot of us are
gritty
like
stuff, you know.
Yeah, we're all like, it's different, man. Like we're a different community. A lot of like crazy people, different people, stuff that like people want to do action, you know. Like I think that's why you get different gyms, different cultures, like even in like different pockets of like. You think of OC, like there's all different gyms, whether you go to like Santa Ana or Mission Viejo or, you know.
We're blessed, bro. Down here, we have so many, dude.
You can't, you got
crazy.
The cross training here, I think like the opponents out here is insane. I always see good fighters, especially like where I live now. I'm always running into like somebody who's a really, really talented fighter. And I think it's a lot of like inspiration in the area and competitive nature. I think that's why you see a lot of good fighters come out of this area.
Yeah, it's crazy because Orange County and they have like a lot of Muay Thai schools and a lot of like jiu-jitsu schools.
Yeah,
it just became the hub of like martial arts for like a while, you know.
I wish kickboxing was still
K1.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's too similar to Muay Thai though. I think that it's like like if you want to do K1 or kickboxing stuff, it's like we're a Muay Thai gym and we could just work that rule set for you, you know. But no, I like it. It's different though because like watching like a fighters rep fight versus like a WCK like full Muay Thai rules fight, it's different, right? Like in fighters rep, you're seeing a lot more combinations like punches and kicks because you don't have to, you have that clench eliminated, you know. Yeah. Versus in traditional Muay Thai, you can't really have like those long combinations because the closer you get, the easier it is to just clench and then break that that rhythm, you know. But yeah, I like kickboxing too, dude. I started with Taekwondo. We were talking about Taekwondo earlier. When I was a kid, that was my first sport, dude. I did that for a number of years. I thought it was a bro.
Still is to me, bro. I think like I still do it. I wish it was more.
You still do Taekwondo? Like,
I mean, like I'm trying to get back to my original dojo. I have
sick, bro. What was your original dojo?
It was in Yorba Linda. So that's like when I started training when I moved to Orange County. Maybe I was like 7. Yeah. So maybe I started training when I was like 8 or something like that. My parents wanted me to do something. I wasn't like, you know, like a basketball kid or anything like that. Like when I first got here. So I'm friends with the guy who, you know, owns his dad is the master there and he trains there. So I'm trying to get back there at some point. But I always practice my Taekwondo, whether it's on the bag or shadow boxing. Yeah. I think Taekwondo has a lot of amazing basics. And I think you see a lot of great fighters utilize Taekwondo, I think, without people even noticing. Yeah. Very synonymous. Like John Jones talks about his Taekwondo training and how it's got him a lot better. Yeah. Conor McGregor with a lot of Taekwondo training. So I think it's one of the most underrated martial arts. Obviously, you know, not like super complete with it as maybe some other stuff, but it's a really good, you know, basic martial art, I think, for sure. Oh,
dude, there's things in Taekwondo. There's parts of that you can use to build a foundation for like your style. Like primarily, dude, is the two best things I can think of from Taekwondo is the footwork, right? Because you know you're not really punching in the face and stuff, so it's like you don't have to like work your keeping your hands up and blocking. But it's all kicks, so it's a lot of jumping in and out, you know. That's so valuable. Staying on your toes, jumping in and out is, I think, is a valuable tool to have in your arsenal, you know. And the other one, dude, I would say is being able to switch your stances, because that's something like I don't know how your dojo was, but it was like since day one they always teach you to work both sides. You know what I mean? That's, you know, obviously being southpaw and orthodox, that's a skill set in its own, you know.
Yeah, I think that's why I'm actually southpaw. Because my kicks were better from my southpaw stance when I was in Taekwondo. Yeah. I think that's another reason like I can do some trickier things is because of Taekwondo. I was going to say that's probably one of the coolest things about Taekwondo is like you're going to do 100 spinning heel kicks this way, then another one that way. Like it's amazing. I think it's good for the distance management like you said too. And then the kicks are different. I think you can do a lot of different kicks, a lot of damaging kicks when you really get to that level and you can kind of learn those separate things. Yeah. It adds a different level to your game if you can utilize them correctly.
Side kicks, bro.
One of my favorite weapons.
Those
honestly.
are money, bro. Those are money, bro.
Talon Chai uses a lot of side kicks too.
He does a weird one. It's like a half. He does a weird side kick, but yeah, he does.
His is obviously a little. I mean, every different martial art has their variations, but I think his side kick he uses it almost like a teep.
He doesn't spring into it. So but it still turns sideways though.
He's somebody I started. He's the reason I started using my sidekick because he's southpaw as well.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I need to figure out a way to utilize my sidekick because he's champion.
Yeah.
He's using it, and I think it's an unorthodox weapon that most people don't know how to stop.
Yeah.
And that's why he uses it. It's very similar to a teep, but most people don't know how to stop it. So that's why it's good to mix up with.
Well, even if you know how to defend against a teep, just changing the angle, the foot going sideways and changing the angle of the kick, you can't defend it the same way. So if you're trying to swat it, like if you're someone that tries to swat it, even catching is harder because you don't have the foot facing up, I'm not saying those techniques don't work, but it's just, you have to learn it.
It's just different. It's just different. And there's a lot of force too, I think too.
Yeah, side kicks for sure, bro.
I don't think you really expect, like with a teep, you kind of know, depending on what kind of teep they're getting you with, I feel you kind of vary like in your mind, like, oh, this is going to be this kind of way I can catch or pick my knee up. I think with the side kick, you can't really tell how hard that person's going to throw it until they follow through.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of cooked then, like that's, I love that weapon. I think it's very underrated.
Oh, 1,000%. Dude, if I have to like sub in and teach a class at Spider, I'll be like, you guys want to learn side kicks or something?
Yeah.
Just because I think it's a good tool to have, and I mean, it hurts more than a teep. So it's like a balance though, because it does require a little bit more energy. I've tested it, bro. I hit the bag. I'm like, just as many side kicks I can, and as many teeps, and I'm like, yeah, side kick, bro. Spinning back kicks are cool. I like spinning back kicks. I mean, I feel like the side kick is a little bit more of a weapon you could utilize a lot more, But yeah, spinning back kicks, that's a good Taekwondo move. I showed you that video with Manson Gibson, bro. Yeah. The dude, Manson Gibson, you guys should check him out, man. This dude would throw like hook kicks into like actual hook punch off the spin.
Yeah. That's my favorite. Spinning hook kick is like
money, dude. Yeah.
So good. If you can land it right, you can get it well. You see a lot of good fighters have that one weapon. It's a very powerful strike, man. It's crazy.
It hurts, bro.
Like that Mauricio Rufy, that knockout on Bobby Green.
Yeah.
That combination into that hook kick, like the flow of it, was insane.
I was
man.
sad
like,
for Bobby Green.
Oh no, obviously like, he's such one of the fighters I really like to enjoy. Really cool, and I met him as well. So obviously hate to see that, but that was a nasty weapon,
dude.
I've been in the gym training that, like, it's crazy. That flow is amazing energy.
Yeah. Bobby Green, man, California native.
Yeah, man, he's cool. He was cool. I met him at Sparstar, I think, one time. Sparstar is cool. I like watching the MMA shows too. Yeah,
I like MMA too, dude. I mean, I do a lot of Muay Thai stuff, but I still love MMA. I watch more UFC than like any Muay Thai, I think, because it's on like all the time.
Yeah, I honestly, I think I watch more Muay Thai. Daniel Rodriguez is probably one of my favorite current fighters, and I think he fights often with the RWS. So watch him a lot. Watch a lot of Talon Chai. But I probably watch like OG K1. I was mentioning Tyrone Spong.
Yeah,
kickboxing, Muay Thai I watch more than anything, and then obviously who's not going to watch the UFC fights on the weekend?
Yeah.
But
they have so many. It's such good quality, bro. Their fights, bro. You know what I mean? Like,
it's
so hard to compete with that, man. All the camera angles, the interviews, dude. I'm like, damn, it's crazy when you watch how the UFC started. You know what I mean? When they had like remember when they used to have that different logo? It was like a guy or something.
With like the yellow and the red and like the big globe.
Yeah. The globe. Oh yeah, it's one of the globe or something. Yeah,
yeah,
dude, that's crazy to where they're at now. You know what I mean? What a fucking ride that
vision, bro. They had a vision. I think it's like, and I think that's one thing you kind of see with like the WCK shows is like the production, or even like with the UNF shows. Like, I think production separates different promoters
for sure,
and I think that's why the UFC is so high level. Like you were saying, like the other fighters will come, like, especially now we've been seeing a lot. Like these fighters will come, and you think they're just there to be at the fight. Then they get inducted to the Hall of Fame, and it's like this big thing, and we get this big movie in
ceremony,
the middle of the fights,
so
and it's
beautiful,
like,
dude.
We're not expecting
it. Makes you want to cry and shit.
Yeah, it's tough, bro. They're They're killing it with that. Like, I like that for sure.
They've done a really good job at creating like a story with their fighters. You know what I mean? That's something that other fight leagues that never. Pride did it a little bit, and K1 actually K1 and Pride did do it. They probably stole that from the Japanese. I'm be honest, now thinking about it, you know. Because I remember Pride and K1, they would have like if you go on YouTube and you watch a K1 video, it's like there's like 30 minutes of before the fight starts of just interviews and stuff like that and content, you know. So yeah, not thinking about that. I think the UFC probably stole that idea from Pride. Interesting.
Yeah,
but it works, man. You feel connected, you know.
I think we were talking too, like Karate Combat. I think that's why Karate Combat works. I think that's why it's blowing up. Is like they are marketing themselves a little bit differently. Because I don't want to use the word cheesy because they've kind of like gone away from that.
Yeah, it was at first
it was a little bit more.
Sure.
Now I think with like President Awesome has gotten away from that, but it still has its own like unique quirkiness to it. The pit is tough. You get quick fights.
I love the pit.
You get to like kind of get that MMA action.
Yeah.
They also borrow a lot of fighters from the UFC, so I think that definitely helps make their crop. Because you'll have like Arman Sarukian fight one of their Karate Combat guys in like a pit sub, whatever it's called, a pit submission match or whatever. And they'll fight, or then you have like Sam Alvey knock out Tyron Spong, like my favorite fighter.
Dude,
and
how you feel about that one, man?
Bro, tough. Like I would have bet the house on Tyron Spong. If anybody would have came up to me in my gym, like my gym knows how much I love Tyron Spong. Like pause, but
yeah,
anybody would have been like, "Yo, Tyron Spong," and I'd have been like, "Yeah, bro, house on him." Because you don't expect that. But I think again, that's why Karate Combat is so tough. Like I've seen so many fights where
bro, he's killing it, bro. Shout out Sam.
Even Gabriel Varga, I'm like, Gabriel Varga's gonna come through and kill it. And I think he lost it, maybe like his first or second fight, because somebody takes him. One of the MMA guys takes him down, and then it's like it's a good mix of old fighters, old kickboxers, old UFC, and like new upcoming strikers and new MMA guys.
Yeah.
So it is definitely its old mix. I low-key think like that's probably the most intriguing thing in my eye right now. Like if I think about anything I would want to do like professionally, I think that it looks like it would be so much fun. I feel like you would.
The vibe is so tight,
you know,
dude.
like, so much fun for the fighting camp. So you get there, it's fun. They have great fighters. I think they put on great fights, and they promote the heck out their guys. Like they doing it for sure.
Yeah, I think President Awesome was it was a good idea to link up with them because he did a great job with marketing his gym. You know, go gym. You know,
yeah.
Like all that he did for that gym is like perfect, exactly what Karate Combat needed. You know what I mean? And it seems like he's starting to implement those same like concepts. You know, so that's cool, man. He seems like a cool guy too overall. Didn't he like do a boxing match or something, or he was sparring someone in the fit just recently? Dude,
I've been he's good at just promoting himself. That's what he does. He knows what he's doing, bro. Like
that's a skill, bro.
He's good at it. Promoting is definitely a skill for sure.
Yeah. Karate Combat. I want to see more of that. It's hard because they'll have their fights when there's like a big UFC card, and I'm like, dude, that's tough, bro. That's a tough. This is the UFC has so many good fights, bro. You know what I mean? It's like, but I think, you know, if they just continue putting that shit on YouTube, so I could just watch it after, and they can get those numbers, the streaming numbers, and those should be good.
I think that's how I fell in love with Muay Thai. Like one day, one championship fight loaded up on my YouTube. I was like, what the hell is this? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Open it up, and I'm like, Jonathan Haggerty versus Rodtang.
Ooh,
the first one.
Savage.
I'm like, nah. I've never in my life seen flyweights like someone my weight class, my height. You know, go like I've never seen somebody that promoted like that. Put on the best fight of the night, win the belt, have the ribbons drop, and everybody. You know what I mean? Like. At least at that point in my life, obviously not seen some of the older fights and stuff like that, but like to see it like that. And I had just started training Taekwondo again. I was like, oh, yeah, I need to get to like this type of gym. Like this is crazy. Yeah. So I think that's like another smart thing. You got to put the fights on YouTube. I think if you're not doing that, you're not going to grow.
Dude, you can't do it like the UFC does it, bro. They're like, that's like you're competing with the NFL, bro. You know what I mean? I mean, look at Bellator. Bellator tried doing it, and I loved Bellator, bro. I liked a lot of their fighters, but they, you know, if they put their fights on, they should have at least gave like a week after uploaded their fights, you know, so they, you know, that way people could, because you know, it's harder for people to pick Bellator over the UFC. That's just the reality of it, yeah.
I think they should have kept. I mean, they would do most of their fights Friday night. No, my trip. I don't remember. I feel like they would, but yeah. I think that was the biggest mess up. Like. sometimes I wouldn't be able to catch that AJ McKee fight. I feel like they would be on like Fridays or whatever it would be.
Yeah.
And it's like, not during the UFC times. And it's like, you're not going to put it on YouTube for like 2.5 months, 3 months, 4 months. Like,
the hype's done, bro.
I don't even remember that you guys put that fight on. And by the time you do that, the UFC just uploaded Adesanya versus Pereira 2 a month later. And I'm like, what are you going to watch? You know what I mean? So that's, you gotta post the fights, bro. Like, that's how you promote your fighters for sure. That's how you get random viewers. That's how you get like the YouTube viewers. Because I was a YouTube viewer, and that's how you get somebody to turn into YouTube viewer to like diehard pay-per-view watching every week. And now you're watching the embeddeds and everything too. Like, if you're gonna post embeddeds, I love those embeddeds, stuff,
bro. Those are so cool, man.
You gotta post the fights. You got to get a little bit of both for sure, bro.
Dude, it's like most people are watching content on YouTube now, so you have to be working YouTube, Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people younger than me at my gym, and they don't even go on Netflix. They're like, literally all I watch is YouTube, Yeah. They don't care about that shit, So if you're not on YouTube, you're not getting eyes, man, or if you're gatekeeping your fights, you know what I mean?
Stop gatekeeping fights 2025. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's what I love about like these new Muay Thai promotions, or not these new, but as of late, like WCK, even Fighters Rep, they were doing a great job with working their social media, dude, their YouTube page, bro. They were on it, bro.
Yeah.
Dennis, before WCK wasn't as good at doing it, but like this year, bro, Dennis is like really made sure to like stream everything. He got that deal with Roku, and then he's been uploading everything to YouTube like the day after, Yeah. I think that was the biggest problem, was people were having a hard time finding their fights to look back on, and that's just promotion, bro. Put that on your page,
I mean, even for like me, I'm obsessive like that. Like, Fighters Rep would post, I would fight, and they would post a fight the next day or whatever in a couple hours, or I would have the live stream, I'll be able to watch it, and just to be able to go back and kind of watch that was like really fun for me to see, like, oh, I did that, and then it will make me want to fight some more.
Yeah.
Or like you said, it is good promotion. Like,
the journey, man.
It is. You want to see the journey, for sure. Yeah. I like that, but I think WCK's promotion recently has been like,
dude, through the roof, bro.
That is stellar, bro.
He's probably paying a pretty penny for all that,
I like it. I want to get a fight there next. When I come back from Italy, I definitely want to fight for WCK.
Dude, his show was streaming. Dude, his that Cambodia event that he did, and the one he did in Long Beach, bro, that hit like 3 million streams, dude.
I watched the one where they were in when WCK went to Cambodia.
Yeah,
that one was good too. Like,
those numbers might be. I might not have those exact numbers, but it was at least like a mil. I remember something crazy like that, bro.
It was good. All of his shows are really are put together very well. I like that he's live streaming them now, because I get to watch them, and he puts them on YouTube. Like, why would I not go watch it?
Yeah.
And you get to see some of the guys that I fought with, or some of the guys that I fought. And it's just a really good production they're doing now. I really like the event, and I think they're going to get a lot of fighters to start fighting again and get active with it.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, WCK, baby. Let's go, Dennis. All right, so tell me a little bit about yourself, Milshawn. So what got you into fighting? You said when you were a kid.
Milshawn.
I mean, oh, my bad. I just trailer homie, sorry. Yeah.
You're good.
We were talking about Milshawn's his teammate. We were talking about him. I actually was supposed to get Milshawn on like months ago, dude, but it's all good. My bad.
Yeah, no, you're chill, bro. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, Ian, what got you into martial arts, bro?
Yeah, man. I think I just was always one of those guys that kind of watched like superhero stuff growing up, or just stuff like that. My dad was into it, and just watching movies with him like that, I wanted to do something. They wanted to put me in something, and wasn't like a basketball kid or like a football kid at the time. I ended up playing it later. Like, that's what I quit Taekwondo for.
Basketball?
No, for football, actually. Yeah, but that was my first real sport, was Taekwondo. It was the first sport I actually was like, I love this. Like, I want to go to this. Got into it, and then kind of started sparring too, and started doing that journey. And like, the sparring was just different. Like, it was just so much fun to like actually be able to like fight somebody and learn new moves, and a lot of like really impressionable moments on me. I'll never forget throwing my first spinning hole kick. Like, it's just really, really good times. So I always loved it. And when I got older, I was like, I want to get back into doing something fun like that. So I started training Taekwondo again, and turned into what we got now.
What was older? What was the gap?
15 years.
Damn.
I mean, like, I feel like everybody did like a Taekwondo or karate as like a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I did it for a little bit longer than most people did, because I didn't stop doing Taekwondo till I got till middle school.
Yeah.
Then everybody, then I looked weird if I was doing taekwondo. So I was like, I got to do football or something.
Yeah,
so that's when I started, doing Pop Warner because everybody was doing Pop Warner. But I hated bro. I wasn't a big kid, bro. So that big helmet on my head, bro, always rattling. It was just like I hated it. I loved being out there. Like I wanted to play QB, but then I couldn't see over the linemen, so they weren't putting me at QB.
Yeah,
but it was so funny. I ended up playing like lineman for a couple games. I was just scrappy, and I think that's one thing I've learned and I've taken into fighting. I was always just scrappy and trying to like prove the coaches wrong or like do some other random stuff like that. And I think I got that from the martial arts. I think it helped me in line because the coaches would snap at you if you did something crazy in Taekwondo. But like football, you just go run a lap or do whatever. So it's just very different. It wasn't something I really like, cared about too much.
You never thought about doing like wrestling or something? Because it's kind of similar to I mean, not really, but compared to football, there's more similarities,
Yeah, no, I mean, in my area, all my homies, they ended up playing. We all started playing lacrosse.
Yeah.
So we all stared playing that, like going into high school.
Lacrosse.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, crazy, definitely crazy for you to say, but I mean, I had fun with it. It was a fun time for me.
Yeah.
We all played lacrosse, and then
I don't think I ever played lacrosse my whole life, bro.
Yeah, not a lot of people have played lacrosse, bro.
Yeah, no offense, bro. I'm not talking shit. It does look fun, bro. I'm down.
It was fun. I had some fun,
down.
but when I tell people I played lacrosse, they always give me like a little look, like just like.
That's one where you're like, you got the stick and you're throwing the ball, right?
Bro.
That's a lot of running, bro.
It was a lot of running and like it was fun, bro. I had a good time. Like definitely got you in shape. Definitely was like, I don't know, a mix of like hockey and soccer, like stuff like that. So it was cool.
That's a good analogy right there.
It was different. I had a good time with that, but nothing's like fighting. You can't beat that. I think I was never really like a team sport person. I think I always like doing my own thing, kind of.
Yeah. Taekwondo. Yeah, I started with Taekwondo. I stopped doing it when I was like 12 or something. I started when I was like 9 or 10. But I stopped doing it when I found out about Muay Thai.
Damn.
I was like,
really?
This is way cooler.
At 12, you found out about Muay Thai?
Yeah, well, because my neighbor's boyfriend was doing Muay Thai. This was Scott, right? He's a little bit older than me. He's like not that much older than me, but he's like 5 or 6 years older than me. But he was doing it. He told me about it, and then one of my friends from high school, Justin, was doing Muay Thai, right? And so one day, me and Justin were sparring, and that fool me up, bro.
Yeah.
Like so bad, bro, dude. And I just after that day, I was like, all right, dude, I'm gonna learn this Muay Thai, bro. And I just never went back to Taekwondo, bro.
So did you have did you and your boys have a fight gym? Not like a fight gym,
We're like
but
a little fight club. Yeah, we would just meet up. Yeah. Just meet up at usually it was at Justin's, dude, or at my other homie's, not Scott's, but his chick's where she was staying at. But yeah, bro, I remember, dude, I literally got fucked up by Justin, and I was like, damn. It's not effective, bro. Like this was punched me in the face, bro. I remember kicking him. And he just ate him, bro.
Yeah.
Because the snap, bro.
No, I could imagine that first time fighting like a Muay Thai fighter, I would have got.
There was a weight disparity too. I'm sure if we were closer in weight, it wouldn't have been as bad, But I was small, dude. He outweighed me by like 15 or 20 pounds. But honestly, I would have done a Muay Thai kick, even though he was 20 pounds heavier or so, I think it would have done a lot more damage than the snap, bro. But I remember I snap kicked him like in the body like a few times, and he was just kind of like looking at me, and then I was like, man,
We used to do like fight nights. We organized a couple fight nights with the boys. We'd all like set up the matchups before like a couple weeks, and all go to somebody's house, put on the gloves, and just beat the hell out of each other for no reason.
Yeah.
We all had like beef.
No mouth guard range.
Yeah, no mouth. So
Same,
dumb,
bro.
so dumb.
Same, bro.
And then exactly what you said, like the weight disparities were like crazy as all hell. Like you'd have somebody with, you think everybody's the same because we all like the same heights. Somebody have 30 pounds on you. You just spar, but you really just trying to knock out your homie.
Yeah.
That was always the best. And then same thing, we kind of started like me and some of my friends that I used to watch UFC with. It was like the first friends I actually trained with. We would like work combos, jab, hook, or stuff like that back in the high school, like during COVID times. So I love that. I think that's like, I wish I did that more. I don't think I do that enough anymore. I feel like you kind of grow yourself, like especially now when you have like a good basis and technique. I feel like to go with your homies and just like hit pads at the beach or like hit pads somewhere is like so different. I need to do that more for sure.
Yeah, we used to do that a lot. And like I said, after I got in Muay Thai, I just was like, Taekwondo doesn't work. Because people would always tell me that. But I was so in love with Taekwondo, bro. I wanted to be in the Olympics.
Everybody
dude.
was, bro.
I was like, nah, dude, fuck you, you know. But that made me realize it's not that effective. I mean, not to talk. There's stuff you could use, but in that instance, it didn't work for me, you know.
Yeah.
So I started learning Muay Thai, and I just kind of never looked back, dude. And it's like I'm 34 now, so you know, long time of doing Muay Thai at this point, you know. But you know, I've thought about going back to a dojo just to learn just to brush up on certain Taekwondo techniques. You know, like I don't think I would take the class or anything, but I'd be down to like spar and do Taekwondo rolls and then do work like spinning kicks and stuff. You know.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna try to figure out something. I've been talking to them. I don't know if I'm gonna do one-on-ones or honestly, like for me, I think like I like that too. I think like there's giving back aspect of it, like when you're with like some of the younger kids or something like that, and especially someone who actually like fights or competes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And they can see that different avenue of like, yo, like Taekwondo, you can grow and do something else too. Because like we both said, like I love it and I'll fight for it. You know, I definitely fight for it, but it's not the most. Like, it isn't the most effective.
Muay Thai is not the most either. MMA is obviously more effective than Muay. You know,
yeah, but that's our basis. So we gotta fight for that, and we gotta like.
I can admit that, you know.
grow the next crop for sure. We got to.
It doesn't hurt me, bro. When people are like, I like Taekwondo, bro. If people sit there saying trash, it doesn't make me mad, you know. And they point out like the snap kick. I'm like, yeah, you're right. The snap kick is not as effective as other shit, you know. I think that's cool, you know. I'm not gonna be a little stingy about it.
Yeah. Dude, Anderson Silva front kick to the face. That was damn near a snap kick,
dude. You know, dude, question mark kicks look cool as fuck, bro.
There's effective.
They don't teach you. They don't teach you that in Muay Thai.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Dude, I remember in Taekwondo, bro. I remember they taught me this one thing where you would run and you would like jump and kick someone in the ribs and then jump off of them and kick them in the head. You know?
Yeah.
And I remember trying to do that, and it's so hard because the second you kick someone in the ribs, you're going backwards. I mean,
yeah,
like if they know, if it's you're working the technique and your partner knows to stand to take it and not go backwards, then it works. But I remember I was like, damn, this is hard. I'm sure you could do it though. I don't know why I brought that up.
I don't know. I think that I've kind of obviously, like you said, it's not the most effective thing in real life, but I kind of realize those things now are like me just training my body. Yeah. Like when I do, one of my favorite kicks is like a spinning heel kick into a front kick, kind of, if you see what I'm trying to say. Like you hit that spinning kick with the back foot,
and then you
come right back and hit him again, like without putting your foot down.
Oh, without putting it down.
So you hit him with the back of your foot and come straight back and hit him again.
Okay.
So, but like things like that is really just working on your balance, getting your hip flexors really in line so that you can do a spinning heel kick like
hip rotation,
to crazy
balance,
severity and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I kind of just like changed my mindset. But then as I started fighting more, I realized I'm like, okay, like time to get out of the Taekwondo gym again. Like, it's low key. I don't want to say a waste of an hour, but like at that point in time, like when I was training and just starting to kickbox and do Muay Thai, it was like hour running is damn near more important before a fight than this. So I feel that for sure.
Yeah, definitely, dude. I mean, I just feel like in a real fight, like, and I don't mean just in a Muay Thai fight, but just in any type of striking fight, it's the basics are usually what win the fight. It's like all the cool spinning stuff. It's really nice when it lands, and it's very powerful when it does land. But you could win there's more fights that have been won off a jab than a spinning hook kick. You know what I mean?
I agree for sure.
Yeah, it's cool though. You know, it's pretty cool that we have the internet. I mean, you can see all this shit, bro. You ever get bored and watch like the style versus style fights?
Nah, dude, that's actually like I feel like I used to. I feel like whenever they kept, like we were just talking about like the feed, if it ever comes up, I'm watching
the algorithm,
it.
You know?
But I like to. I won't watch those. But do you ever watch like the breakdowns of the style versus style? Like, it's funny you say that. Like I just watched the other day, like how to beat a pressure fighter, and I'm like, it just popped up. I'm like, all right, let me see what this fool has to say. Like, you know what I mean? And he just used one of those fights as an example. So I'll watch those ones for sure. Those are my favorite when they come up and they do like the actual breakdowns.
Yeah, you know Lawrence Kenshin?
Nah.
You never seen Lawrence Kenshin?
No.
Oh, I'll send you some of his stuff, bro. He's this I think he's British, somewhere from Europe, but he does fight breakdowns. Like,
I'm
good,
tripping.
bro.
I lied.
He does like the history of it. Yeah,
I know exactly. I was gonna say that sounds so familiar. I know exactly.
Yeah, he's got like this symbol, this Chinese symbol or something.
I was gonna say, but his is almost like black and gray, kind of like doesn't he have
symbol
like,
or what? I don't remember.
I think like the beginning of his videos. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He has a Bruce Lee video. He has like
he
makes good videos.
Dude.
He does those videos that I was talking about.
Oh,
like
yeah. That's how you said that. I was like, what
he does those videos.
Bro,
That's
if you
the thing,
guys
those
don't know
are
who
fun.
Lawrence Kenshin is, you need to friggin' follow this guy, dude. He has some great quality work, man, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know if he makes money off that, but I hope he does. So he keep
he
doing
has.
it, you know?
Every time I watch every time when his video comes up recommended, it's like, swear it'll be one of his older videos. It'd be like 4 million views or something crazy. Like, but it'll be like one of the Bruce Lee ones or like some other. He does like OD breakdowns.
Yeah.
He's really, really good.
Yeah, he's got like he's on the spectrum or something because he breaks that shit down crazy,
Hey,
bro.
He's thankful for the spectrum, bro.
He's got like the good version.
Yeah, no, he's locked in on that, and I'm grateful for it, bro, because I'm better now.
Yeah, for sure. It's cool too when he brings up like the old fights, bro. You see the history of it, and I love that, dude. I love like the old fights, dude, because I'm just a fan, you know. Part of this podcast is I feel like I'm trying to preserve like the history of like Muay Thai, you know.
You've already put me on to so many like people. You
Hey,
you definitely are, bro. Like,
Hey,
I'm
bro.
learning for sure.
Yeah, man. So Lawrence Kenshin, man. Shout out Lawrence Kenshin, dude. Oh shit, what happened? Like, my camera said something. BRB.
So who else are some of your like
back,
OG
baby.
OG fighters that you rock with?
Like in Muay Thai?
Some people you're trying to preserve.
Oh, dude. Well, preserve. Well, mostly like local stuff, dude. Honestly, like the local fighters, because they didn't really like, you know, we don't. There's not a lot of shine to it, bro.
Yeah.
I just want to bring it out here. But dude, you know, one guy that I really fuck with, dude, is I don't know if you ever seen him fight, but Cody, Squirrel Muay Thai, Cody Sessions, dude. That was a savage, bro. That dude's a savage. Ahmad, bro, he's at Elite Kickboxing. That's his gym.
Okay.
In San Diego. That fool's a savage. I don't know if these two guys are still fighting. I think Cody's with UNF right now. So I saw he did an interview recently. So maybe he's fighting soon.
Yeah.
I gotta hit that guy up. Ahmad just recently retired. He's married. But people like that, you know. And then it's cool when I talk to people like Hung or my coach, because then they're telling me like the people from their era, you know, people that I don't even know about.
Yeah, like the OGs, the guys that kind of.
Like, dude, if you ever have some time, bro, and I'm sure your coach is the same way, bro. You just sit with them and ask them questions about like different fighters that he came up with them, dude. Just sit there and listen. And I think it's cool, man. You know? Yeah,
I definitely should. I feel like I don't do that enough. I feel like I look at like more of the mainstream guys, but I think that's sick. Like, I definitely, when I see some of the OG coaches, like kind of some of the guys you mentioned, when I see them at the fights, I like, because I'm a history guy. Like, I like to look them up and be like, oh, who's, you know. I remember the first time I saw Sugarfoot Cunningham, I'm like, everybody, his shirt says 9-time champion or whatever. I'm like, okay, let me see how legit
9-time
this guy
champion's
is.
crazy.
And then
bro.
I look at it and I'm like, oh, this guy's like so legit. I remember the first time I watched his fight, and I can't think of the guy he fought, but I saw you know his opponent on Instagram, and I saw one of their fights together, and I'm like, it was a original LA fight, and I almost want to say it was WCK, like way back. Maybe it was, but who knows, right?
They've been around for like 33 years or something, bro.
So it was you know, a while back, and I watched this fight, and I'm just like, man, it's just a different game now. Like the entrances they had, like they were wearing hats, and they had
clothes,
bro. They were dancing. Like when I say dancing on the way to they were pop locking and dropping like on the way to the ring. It was crazy. And then they did like, bro, I swear they did like 14 rounds of like Waco kickboxing. I need to find this fight after, but it was Sugarfoot Cunningham and somebody else.
Yeah.
And I was amazed because he's somebody I've seen at the fights. And I'm like, bro, I've done 5 rounds at the fight. And I'm like, bro did 14, however many rounds, however many minutes. I think it was 3 minutes, whatever, even if it was 2. 14 3-minute rounds for a championship fight versus like another undefeated fighter.
Was that like 42 minutes or something? Is that 42 minutes?
Bro, it was OD. And when we talk about spinning heel kick, hook kick, and then nasty boxing, like that was one of the best fights. And shout out to those guys. Like I need to watch more original LA fights and stuff like that. That was like mesmerizing to see what they did for 12 or 14 rounds, whatever it was some absurd number, dude.
Yeah. Were they doing like that karate or that kickboxing, the old kickboxing style where it was like karate with boxing?
Yeah, like
side stance and stuff?
They were definitely.
It's an interesting era, bro.
It was. We talk about like, you know, Taekwondo. It kind of reminded me of that. Like it was just like
the Jean-Claude Van Damme days.
Literally, bro. It was literally just that type, like blood sport ass friggin'. Literally a blood sport ass fight. Yeah. But they just had like they walked out and had me crying. Like they were like, I don't know what the music was, but they walked out to like flashlights and like gold pants, friggin' pimp hat. Like they just looked so tough, bro. And I was like, I looked at myself after that fight, and I was like, bro, I'm getting a robe for my next fight. Like I'm doing something OD because they we don't do it like them. Like that was a fucking spectacle, bro.
Yeah.
Like that was crazy.
Yeah, man, those like the Rick Rufus days was a trip. They would wear like the karate gi pants to the
Tough.
kickboxing fights, and dude, and then I remember like there was no like there was. They even would call it, I think, American kickboxing to differentiate between like the like Dutch style and all that. But there would be like, I remember there was like no clenching, no knees, I think at the time, no low kicks or something. So it's basically like punches to the head, punches to the body, and then kicks to the head and kicks to the body or something like that.
I like it, bro. I like it. I think like I said, like that's the kind of stuff that I kind of like. Bloodsport, the Three Ninjas. I don't know if you ever watched that movie, bro. Like growing up watching the Three Ninjas and doing Taekwondo, I was like, bro, this is the life I want to live, bro.
Which one was your favorite one?
I'm a main character type of dude, bro.
Every time, Red Ranger.
I don't care if I'm watching Rapunzel and it's like the white knight comes to save the girl. Like I look at that movie and I'm like, bro, that's me, bro. Like it's delusional, but
this man speaking to my soul, bro.
Like, bro, it is what it is, bro. Like, so I like I can't think of his name, but then everybody loves Tum Tum because bro's always eating, and he had bag to him too. But I like the leader. I think that was Colt. I want to say,
I think Colt. Yeah, I think it was Colt.
The head honcho, because he had the girls too. He had that little baddie, bro.
Yeah, he did.
And then like they had that scene where they hooped crazy on the basketball court.
I don't even remember that, bro.
They were dunking, bro.
Like, I'm a basketball player. I like Taekwondo.
Bro, literally, I was like, that was me. And I didn't even play basketball, but I played basketball at the elementary school. And I'm like, bro, this is me, bro. Like, this is the life I actually live. But yeah, that was me. So I like Colt and Tum Tum. Tum Tum was crazy, bro. And then who didn't like the grandpa was cool too. The grandpa was tough. Like when he put on the freaking when he put on the ninja suit and he's like all fat and everything and he's just poking out of it. That's hilarious.
I wonder, was that movie like, you know how the Power Rangers was like dubbed over, right? Like the fight scenes were not the actual actors, right? Yeah. I wonder if that movie they did the same like thing.
I don't know.
I feel like the fight scenes looked off, bro.
They probably. I mean, you have to have to assume stunt double.
Yeah, I could have been a stunt double. But you know what I'm talking about?
Those little kids, like, yeah. But I rocked with. Speaking of stuff that got me into fighting, like the Green Ranger, bro. The Green Ranger was the toughest.
Tommy was,
bro. Tommy was the toughest. He had that little like triangle, little sword or whatever.
Yeah,
bro.
dagger
like,
thing. Yeah.
I used to.
It's like a flute, bro.
He was tough.
Is that a flute? Dagger.
I used to go to the Boys and Girls Club and look up like Green Ranger videos, X Lincoln Park, and just watch like the craziest montages, bro. And then go to the Taekwondo after, bro. I was whooping dogs after that. Like,
I get you hyped before class, and shit,
bro. Come on, you got to.
Yeah. You know how Power Rangers the fight scenes weren't the actors.
No, I honestly didn't know that until right now. You kind of just realized it. I'm not gonna lie.
Your brain off, man.
I'm not gonna
lie.
So
check this out, dude. The Power Rangers is a spinoff off of the Japanese show called Super Sentai, right?
Okay.
So our first season of Power Rangers was actually the 4th season of Super Sentai.
Okay.
What they basically did was they took the stock footage from Super Sentai, they copied it over. The only thing they re-recorded was whenever they didn't have their suits on. It was Americans speaking in English. So all the fight scenes were the Japanese fools from Super Sentai fighting.
I'm actually so shook right now.
Yeah, dude. So check this out. The Yellow Ranger, you notice how she didn't have a dress, but the Pink Ranger had a dress?
Yeah.
Because in Super Sentai, the Yellow Ranger was a guy. But in America, they decided to make it a girl. So, and like I said, the fight scenes were direct imports, so they couldn't just add the dress on, or the skirt.
Honestly, shout out to the other show, because
Super Sentai.
Yeah, Super Sentai. They did it, bro. That was another show I used to. Power Rangers was tough.
Oh, dude, I still like Power Rangers, bro.
Woke up and watched Dragon Ball Z. Like all that stuff was fire to me. I love that.
Yeah. It blew my mind when I found that out, dude. I was like, they tricked me. I mean,
that was like people trying to tell me wrestling was fake.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was like, get the hell out of here. What you mean, bro?
Yeah.
He just jumped off the top rope. How you gonna tell me it's fake?
You know what I mean?
You didn't just see him jump off the top rope?
You see him hit that chair? You know?
Yeah, bro. What are you talking
about? The blood, bro.
Literally, bro. Like,
blood was probably real, though, to be honest, dude.
Bro, I don't care, bro. He jumped off the top rope. Don't tell me it's fake, bro. That's crazy.
I remember when I had to admit that wrestling was fake, bro, because there was like a WrestleMania, and I was supposed to stay at my dad, and my dad wasn't into that shit, dude. So and I was trying to watch it, and he told me like I couldn't watch it because it was violent, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember like telling him, "But it's fake."
Yeah.
But even just saying it out loud hurt me.
You're
you know?
like,
but I want to watch it so bad, dude.
You're like rooted the main event for yourself. 'Cause, like you don't want to break this, but like this is the only way you're gonna see it.
You know what I mean?
Bro.
It's tough, bro.
That's hilarious.
You know?
So did you get to watch it though?
Nah, you didn't care, dude. You're so sad now.
So you say you ruined your own childhood.
Yeah.
And then you didn't get to watch it.
I think I was getting to the age where I was starting to accept it, you know?
Yeah,
and I
fair.
finally like was able to just say it out loud, you know?
I think like, because I'll never, same thing. Like, I think it was Thanksgiving and I'm like, bro, put on Super Smash or whatever the summertime show was.
Yeah.
And my uncle was like, bro, like that stuff is fake, bro. Like, what are you talking about? And I told him straight up, I'm like, bro.
How old were you, bro? How old were you?
Going into sixth grade. So like, I don't know.
They're a little older. I was like 8 when I realized it was
bro,
fake.
no, I didn't stop watching wrestling probably till like,
I still
I
watched
was nerdy, bro. Even I still had friends, but like,
Yeah.
I would never tell any of my popular friends, like the homies I hang with nowadays, like they know I'm nerdy like this.
Mhm.
But like, you know how it is during middle school.
Yeah.
So I would never tell them. Like it would be my friends at the Boys and Girls Club, like my friends I would stay after school with and talk to.
Yeah.
I would never tell the homies I watched that. They would clown me till I die. So
It's so popular now, dude.
but it's
That
sick
shit
now.
I can't believe it blew up the way it blew up.
I'm not gonna lie. It's like I almost like I catch myself like when John Cena just won the belt. Like I caught myself looking at the stuff like the little Travis Scott popped out.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on, bro,
dude, right?
Travis Scott,
I'm
The Rock,
crazy,
and John
bro.
Cena. I'm like, okay, I need to see this.
Yeah.
bro. It was actually like it was pretty cool. I had a good I had a good time watching like the
They put on
storyline.
good shows, man.
Yeah,
I ain't
they
gonna lie,
do.
bro. It's on Netflix now, right? Isn't it on Netflix
Yeah, it
now?
is. But they're kind of like showing a little bit like too much, kind of like breaking like that third wall, like letting people know it's like
Fake.
scripted and fake.
I feel like, but I think it's helping because now they just dive into the fake. Like, have you seen Japanese wrestling? You know, it's like preposterous, bro.
Yeah.
I feel like they're kind of going in that direction because
I like it though.
it's like in Japanese wrestling, they know it's fake because they do all these weird shenanigans, but it's like super popular. They love it, bro. They're like gods over there, you know?
Yeah, no, I like it. I think that's like, I mean, it's what I grew up on. I'll never knock like somebody else's hustle. I think it's mad. I
Yeah.
think it's mad cool. It's mad cool.
You watched that Vince McMahon documentary?
I don't know if I haven't watched that one yet.
It's really good, bro. You should watch it.
I should. I haven't watched that
You're
one
not a real
yet.
fan, bro.
Just no. That's why you gonna do it like that? No, because that's like I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to be like one of those dudes, but it's like that's like I just feel like it's too 2025 like woke like
okay,
Netflix
okay.
is very like
They are woke, but that was a
you know
good
what I mean?
documentary
Like,
though. Yeah,
it's like I want to see it, but like I don't want to like.
yeah.
It's just I already know the stuff, the scandals. Like
Mhm.
I don't want to listen to him like plead or like
Yeah.
say he did. Like I'm good off of all that.
It's really interesting because it shows you on how he like made WWE what it was, like how he acquired it. You know, he got it from his dad.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so his dad had like started it. It was I don't remember if it was WWE or some other wrestling league, and there like Vince McMahon somehow f***ed his dad over and basically like made him buy it, like sell it to him.
That's fire,
But he
dude.
did
Fuck
it. But he did it, and then like basically the whole documentary, from what I can remember, it basically just showed how Vince McMahon was a dick, but everything he did made wrestling what it is today. You know, he was just always f***ing people over, bro.
See, that's my thing. Like I already like you know how much we've been watching wrestling for. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's sick. I try to like nowadays. I want to watch like okay. I almost take it. I want to watch stuff with good vibes, unless it's like mafia or like some serial killer, like that type of stuff. I like a lot of like real history or like real stuff like that. Like that, I'm like I already know how it is. Like Ric Flair's documentary. Have you watched that one?
Yeah.
That was like I rock with Ric Flair. So
Yeah.
like I had never heard of any of that story. So like I like to see new stuff like that. But I'm gonna go home and watch that McMahon documentary.
I thought it was interesting, bro.
I've been saving it, so now I'm gonna watch it because you said something.
Yeah, it was interesting, bro. One of the things that they talk about is how like back in the day, wrestling was like the leagues had like this unspoken rule where it's like they stayed in their area, and like they didn't like try to take fighters or do promote fights like in someone else's area. That was like the old way of doing it. Vince McMahon said that, and he started going on to other people's turf. Bro, it's crazy though because that's why he got famous, because people started being able to see his fights in different parts of the country, you know. So it was
honestly,
interesting.
I'm gonna watch it because it sounds like a lot more like business oriented. I probably
that's what there's a lot of that. And that's what to me I was like, wow, that's fascinating how like he grew the sport, you know. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a Dana White documentary sometime soon, you know. That's gonna be interesting.
For sure. I think all those guys are. I'm really into big business. I think that's another reason like I love fighting. It's a lot of business. So I love seeing guys like that. Like, and even like with Vince, like I love a guy like that. Like, I feel like he's unapologetic. Like, guy that tells you like how he is and like he's done his way. Like, you got to be aware of it. You know what type of person he is. Like, if you choose to be like deal with that, you got to accept the consequences. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. That's the world we live in.
Yeah, money talks, bro.
Yeah,
I respect it, bro. Look at what he did. Is he built an empire?
Yeah.
So I think it raises the question: can you make a lot of money without fucking people over? I don't know. I don't think you can. I don't think you can be like that rich and not to fuck someone over. You know?
that's a tough question.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, especially nowadays, I feel like somebody's gonna feel like, oh, you got over on them.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's always like, I feel like that's history. Somebody always, even if I pay you like a livable wage and I make an exorbitant amount of money, you gonna feel like I fucked you over.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, all the greats had to fuck someone over, right?
Yeah.
For some perspective, bro. You know Alexander the Great, bro,
Yeah.
specifically, right? You know there's like a rumor how he had his dad killed, Philip.
yeah,
So you know about that rumor?
Yeah.
So I'll just say it to the viewers that haven't heard, but basically like Alexander the Great, bro, he was like the bastard of the family. Like he was from Macedonia. Was it Macedonia or Macedonia? I think it's Macedonia, right? So, anyways, he was from like, let's say Macedonia, right? His dad had already had like a bunch of different wives. One of his wife was Cleopatra from Egypt, so everyone had thought that her kid would be the rightful heir. Then he would unite like Egypt and Macedonia, right? Anyways, Alexander the Great was the bastard because he came from like this city where they said that they did witchcraft. His mom would sleep with a snake. That's the story.
that's crazy.
So this like city was like people kind of they were like segregated in a sense, right? But his dad had fallen in love with some bitch over there. I think her like uncle or something was the king, but whatever. He like had Alexander. Anyways, Alexander started learning, like going to war, like at a young age, started fighting, and he wanted like the power, but he basically understood he wasn't going to get it because he was the bastard child. Yeah. So he allegedly put a plot for his dad to die. Literally, as soon as his dad died, he basically was like, all right, now we're going to go march to Persia. Because that was his dad's, like, he was never able to defeat the Persians, you know? It's pretty interesting. So my point being is, it just would seem like for all these big successes that happen, someone gets fucked over in an equally big way, you know?
I mean, it's funny you bring that up. Like, I love history. Alexander's one of my favorites, and it's like you said, like, I don't know, like even if it's not like somebody gets fucked over, it's just like somebody takes over. You know what I mean? Like, there's always, even like you bring up like the wrestling, everybody's like chilling. They have a nice little pods in the area, but there's always somebody like Vince McMahon or like somebody like Alexander who's like, fuck it, I'm coming through.
Yeah,
I want all of this. I want to do everything my dad couldn't do, or this person wouldn't allow me to do. And I think we're losing sight of that. I hate to say it like that, but I think we're losing sight of that. I think like you have to be aware of people like that. Mm-hmm. You know, whether it's you or somebody else, like there's people out there like that are like, and I think that's what I love about the fight game is like most of these guys at the top like believe they're the best and they want to be the best and they're going to come through and try to like kill everybody in front of them, for lack of a better word. So I think that's like one of the things I like about fighting. It reminds me of like humanity, of like that could happen. Like I go out there, somebody doesn't care about my family and what I have to do, you know, like they're coming out there to either knock me out or win, hurt me. It's not like basketball, bro. If I lose the game, if I lose the fight, like I'm going home with some type of like, damn, I didn't like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, and that's a good point, man. Fighting is similar in a lot of ways. And you see like who's really about with this, you know, real quick, you know what I mean? I was literally having a discussion with one of my teammates about this. We saw this video of this dude that was he just basically got beat up by his coach, and in the comments he was just talking about how this dude had like hella been talking shit and stuff, you know? Yeah. And I just was like, yeah, that's valid, you know. Everybody thinks they're great until they find out.
I feel like you should get beat up by your coach.
Every once in a while, for sure, yeah.
Like I love like when Johnny puts his sparring. I don't love it. Like I get that pit in my stomach. I'm like, damn, bro. Yeah, bro's got to whoop everybody today. Yeah, but like that's like the good stuff, low key. Like I feel like that's like when you get a little brush off from like the OGs. Like when Johnny does stuff like that, especially like when we first started fighting, he'll whoop our asses, or we have good sparring. sit us down after and give us a story about some stuff we never heard before. Like, I think that's the stuff that like grows like my love for the sport and like wanting to like get better so that eventually like I could put somebody else on. Like I love that. Like I love how much Johnny's always trying to like put me onto some game that he did when he was in my position. I think that's my favorite thing about like my coach. He's always like trying to keep it real with me, give me a different idea, always telling me to be conscious of certain different things. I think that's like my favorite thing about my coach for sure.
Yeah. How'd you get linked up with Johnny?
It's Milshon.
You just that was his coach or what?
Yeah, so I was training, doing my own thing, and yeah, Milshon's cousin trained with Johnny over at King's. Johnny opened up his own gym, and Mills was training there. And one day, Mills saw me training, was basically like, "Yo, like come through the gym. Like we've been talking about like kickboxing, MMA. Like let's do it." He brought me there. My first day, I met Johnny. It was just me, Johnny, and Mills, and me and Mills just shared a bag. I can't honestly. I think Johnny worked out with us that day too. I think it was just us three on the bag, and we just did a quick little drill, all three of us. And he's just mad chill. He's always like big brother, like father figure type. Like I met him maybe when I was 21, so like sophomore year of college, and like was not really knowing what I wanted to do with like school.
Life.
Or, yeah, my life, everything like that.
Yeah.
And bro was just like, oh, like, stick with like the school, fight a little bit, like it'll be good for your resume. And I never really like got what he was saying, you know what I mean? And like there's a lot of things I just didn't really get what he was saying. And as I, fought and got better with the fighting, he would make me fight more and he'd tell me different things. And then I graduated and like panned out exactly like how he said, like it's different. Fighting's really good for you. And I think that's one of the things I like about Johnny is like he's about fighting and fighting often. And he's like, yo, you guys need to fight. When you guys are active, stay active. But everybody in our gym has a career, is trying to have a career like outside of fighting too. We want to have careers with fighting, but we have like our 9 to 5, something we graduated, we like care and we're passionate about. And he always tried to give us an avenue to like fight and be cool with that, but also do something else. And so I think that's the coolest thing about our gym. And there's a lot of like different things that go on there. It's not just, we're definitely really strict about fighting. We want to fight, but there's a lot of other fruitful things that come out of HB Fight Club for sure.
What's your other thing besides fighting? Like, did you go to school for something or?
Yeah, so I do like business. Right now I do pharmaceutical sales. So I was kind of saying, like, I love business. I think like that's one of the reasons I love fighting. There's a lot of business about it. There's a lot of like marketing and kind of understanding how you can market yourself and promote yourself and get to the big show or do whatever. But my favorite thing about the fighting is like you just have to be good. And that's the one thing about business and sales is very similar. Like you have to be good. At the end of the day, like you could fake it for so long, but somebody's gonna catch you. You know what I mean? And are you actually that good? And I think that's like the two cool little overlaps. So I like that. One day I would love to like bring business into fighting. I would love to like find an overlap. For me right now, it's just like being the best businessman I can be outside of the ring and being the best fighter that I could be. And eventually, just like everything has been, like even with this opportunity with the WBC tournament, is like just finding the right opportunity and taking it. So we'll see when that comes around, whether it's like opening my own gym or opening up, what I would love to do, a nonprofit one day is like my biggest goal. A nonprofit would be really, really cool.
Nonprofit, what's for what?
So like I said, I kind of did like I went to Boys and Girls Club a lot growing up as a kid, like
Youth service thing?
Yeah, so shout out to my parents. They definitely like took good care of me. But I always went to, like in the summer, my parents worked, so I would go to Boys and Girls Club, so I'd have somebody to watch me or whatever. It's where I met like a lot of my good friends, stuff like that. But like at certain points, it was better than others. At certain points, they would have programs and like all these other school stuff and like stuff that I learned and like really, really impacted me. And then at other times, like they wouldn't have that shit. They would just have like the Xbox or whatever. Or sometimes they wouldn't even have the Xbox,
Just hang out pretty much.
Yeah. So I want to, my goal is to like create a nonprofit, do something for kids and kind of give them the opportunity. Like what Johnny does for us, but specialized, like, oh, you want to be a therapist. How can we specialize your kind of route for you to like stay focused, stay in school, fight if you want to fight. And if the opportunities open up for you, like, we'll do that. Kind of like how we were talking, like, there's no, nobody has money coming into these kids that like kind of kids our age, like 20, 25, just graduating or in school, you know, spending money on school, spending money on rent, whatever it may be, but also trying to make a fight career. These kids don't, there's no, you know, scholarship for being a fighter. I think that's, I think that's not right. If somebody's a California state champion and going to Cal State, wherever, they should get some money from like Cal State. So I think like building a nonprofit and trying to put these kids, some of these kids that don't really get the best opportunities, or some people that just haven't had a opportunity, you know what I mean? And shining light on this community in a different way and giving people a way out too. Like, okay, I fought for a little bit. I went pro. Maybe it didn't work out for me. Or I went pro, it worked out for me. And now I'm ready to retire. Like, oh, I can have this to fall back on. So that's my goal. I want to build that, is do like a nonprofit Boys and Girls Club type thing and kind of help people figure out their lives and do what they want to do. That's my like big goal.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. That's interesting. Sounds like you need like a lot of like a big team, because people are gonna have like different kids are gonna have different goals and shit. Like I'm sure like one kid that wants to be a fighter, he's gonna need a certain type of advice versus a kid that's like, I want to be a doctor. Like, you know, I don't know.
For sure.
I'd be like, I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Let me get someone that can though, you know.
Yeah, I think that's like I think that's the cool thing, is like you like hope to have like a community of people, you know, and definitely like, you know, different like academic advisors, different coaches, and kind of like whatever person's path there is, they go that path. But regardless, they kind of like train. Like you kind of have to, no matter what, you train. If you're there, you like study. You either train or you study. And even if you study, or even if you train, you still study.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So you have to do a little bit of both.
There's a UFC fighter, I can't remember his name. He's got the blonde hair. He's from Sacramento. He kind of looks like a surfer.
Faber?
Uriah Faber, yes. So I cannot remember his name, bro. CT kicking it. I'm just kidding.
Hey, you've been kicked too much, bro.
Right, but Uriah Faber, he has this thing that he's trying to do with the city, where it's gonna be like an MMA hub. I think it's he's talking about. You could like live there and train there, and they're gonna try to have it paid for by the state or something like that. So it's pretty interesting. Kind of sounds similar to what you're trying to do, but you're just a little bit more geared more towards education. But that'd be cool if maybe, you know, one day you could set it up. Maybe you guys could link up and you know, work together some. Help these kids, man, get off the fentanyl.
Yeah, dude. Bro, facts, bro.
Hey, how's like the fentanyl use in Newport? You're in Newport, you said, or Danforth?
Yeah, there's like I mean, I want to say crazy. I think there's a lot of like the clinics where people are cleaning up, so you see like a little bit of like that too. I think it's like low-key everywhere now.
Even in where you live in Newport.
I mean, like obviously not closer towards the beach, but at Costa Mesa, Santa Ana, for sure. Costa Mesa, Santa Ana, for sure.
Because if it's Newport, that'd be crazy. Because that's
not really
bad.
Newport. Yeah, Costa Mesa, Santa Ana, you gonna see that.
I'm just curious. It's pretty bad. I live in Anaheim. It's pretty bad here. My gym's in Santa Ana. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, Santa Ana, that's where. So like again, like I work. I'm like in that type of industry. Like that's where they have all those healthcare clinics. So like, typically, like you have people that are like, you know, like some people like go there for the symptoms or whatever, or maybe they don't. You know, they just stay in that area because there's certain things that they have opportunities to that they wouldn't be if they were to go towards like Garden Grove or somewhere else. So that's typically why you see a lot of those people like stay in that
congregate
area.
And stuff.
Yeah, because that's like where all like the health clinics are for them to get, you know, some of the stuff that they need to like live properly.
Yeah. I was watching one of your other interviews, and I think you mentioned, I'm pretty sure you mentioned both your parents are super educated. They have like multiple degrees, you know?
Yeah.
So how did they feel when you said that like you want to do fighting? Were they kind of like, I really want you to be a doctor, but you know?
Yeah, quite literally. They're like, you're an idiot. My mom's a nurse, so she's like, my mom's the most caring. I love her to death, but we all know how moms are. Like, you know, like, if you're fortunate enough to have a mom, and I am, so my mom, she's like, you know, takes care of me. She's like one of those people like growing up, like, oh, like be careful, don't go out and do anything crazy, even though, you know, and so she's like, you know, don't fight, don't like, you know, wanted me to stay with like business and something that's like a little bit more health conscious. However, I would say like they always supported me. They always go to my fights. They always believed in me. They're just like, maybe you could do something like where you don't like get your face smashed in. But I tell them like, hey, like y'all put me in Taekwondo. Like let me use the skills that I learned. I like it. It's fun for me. And they're really happy about this WBC tournament. I think it's a little bit different being able to represent like Team USA, especially the WBC.
It's a big name, yeah, bro.
It's a big platform for sure.
Yeah.
So just want to like take advantage of that and like do what I could do with that as well.
Yeah. So do you have like a way for people to like donate to getting you to WBC and all that?
Yeah, honestly, don't have a donation link for me. I'm trying to I have a couple more fundraisers coming up. The best thing you could do is follow me on Instagram at Ian Holloway. Yeah, INHOLLOWAY. We'll have some merch dropping soon. Have some T-shirts with some familiar brands in the area that you guys know. Have some hats coming out as well. So if you guys could support by getting some of those things, and even just reaching out to me, we're trying to get some sponsorships as well. It's going to be a big opportunity. Going to be for fighting for one of the biggest promoters in the world in Verona, Italy.
Super cool.
So definitely want to get some sponsors that are willing to help and brands aligned as well. And even when we come back to out here, I put on a show. I definitely one of the guys that has a lot of fans come up to the fight. I think my people always show out for me, and no matter what, like, we make it rowdy. That's the one difference about me. So I like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Maybe we should have a raffle too for an autograph from your cousin. My man's Max Holloway. Just kidding. When I first met him, I was like, yo, is there a relationship to Max Holloway, bro?
My Hawaiian brother for sure, bro. I just started surfing, bro, getting a little bit into that. Nah, I'm playing.
Oh, Hana. Yeah, dude. So, I almost called you Milshan. Sorry, dude. Just because I knew you're his teammate and I've been talking to him before you, so I'm like Milshan, Ian. Ian. Thanks for coming on, dude.
Of course,
check this guy out, dude. He's out here. He's living the fucking. How old are you, bro?
25, bro.
25 years old, bro. He's still at that age where he can go and get it, bro. Get after it. Don't be an old dog like me. I'm 34. It's done for me, It's all gravy, though. I'm ready to just croak. But help my man Ian, dude. He's going for the dream, man. Here in the, we all have dreams. We all have goals, and some of ours are a little harder than others, but that's okay. Donate if you can. Check him out. If you can't, help him out this time. Maybe if you see him at another fight, some other time, get some tickets, show some love, show some support. Ian, It was a pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, everyone.
Later.